What's going on, pro wrestling fans? My name is Jose Ramos Jr. and welcome to the Raw post-show reaction. And let's just go ahead and start talking about it. The main event. It was Jey Uso challenging Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. We knew there was going to be a match filled with offense, a high-intensity matchup filled with spears, false finishes, you name it. But what I wasn't anticipating was for WWE to actually pull the trigger on a Jey Uso victory. This makes it his very first singles title in the WWE, winning that Intercontinental Championship. And like I said, great matchup, great move sets, great false finishes. We saw Jey Uso have a great false finish when he went for that initial dive off the top rope, and I thought it was going to end right there, but not the case. They would go for the spear through the barricade on the outside before Jey hit a second splash from the top rope, and the referee counts it 1, 2, 3, new champion. Great moment for Jey. I'm so happy for him. You look at the evolution that Jey Uso has gone through over the course of the last couple of years. Obviously, from 2010 all the way to 2023, he was matched up with his brother. We know that they are one of the greatest tag teams of all time, quite frankly, the Usos. And since splitting from his brother and going solo, we saw the evolution before our very eyes. We saw him kind of step away from the bloodline saga, get his own ambitions, earn his own name, and earn his own keep when it comes to the roster. We saw great matches against the likes of Roman Reigns, Gunther, and Seth Rollins as well for that world title back in earlier this year. But Jey Uso, his connection with the crowd, it was organic. It wasn't something that was fabricated. It certainly wasn't something that they had to force. His connection with the crowd, whether it's yeeting with the crowd, whether it's his theme music, his moveset, his promos, Jey Uso is undeniable. He's one of the best faces in the WWE right now. And early on in 2024, it was I believe January, he set up a goal. He made it his mission to win singles gold, and here we are in the month of September, and he accomplishes that. What I look forward to now is what are we going to do with Braun Breaker? What are we going to do with Jey Uso? For Braun Breaker, he was, laying out everybody and anybody being left off of the King of the Ring tournament. He finally wins the Intercontinental Championship from Sami Zayn at SummerSlam. And now, having lost the title, I suspect that we'll have some kind of rematch between the two. But now, having lost the title, what does this mean for Braun? Braun, I think we're going to see go back to the destructive Braun Breaker who was laying waste to everybody in the locker room, everybody in the ring. I think we're going to go back, revert back to that Braun Breaker. Which, as a side note, Adam Pearce has to get it together because there continues to be devastation and continues to be chaos on Monday nights. But I digress. Braun Breaker, I think we're going to go back to that early stage of his career, on Raw, and how he was just running over everybody. As for Jey Uso, because I'm assuming he's going to beat Braun Breaker in a rematch, I hope they don't hot potato titles anymore like they do in WWE in the past. But I think one opponent that we could be seeing Jey Uso go against, Dominic Mysterio. We obviously know the storyline between Dominic and Rhea and Liv Morgan. We'll jump into that in a second here as they opened up the show. But I think it's a natural progression. We've seen how Jey Uso has been coming closer and closer with Damian Priest and especially Rhea Ripley. I wouldn't be surprised if we somehow interjected Dominic Mysterio into that storyline and have him compete for the Intercontinental Championship. I think it's finally time for Dominic to finally get more singles opportunities, especially when it comes to championships. His time with the Judgment Day has been, exceedingly entertaining. I've seen the growth that Dominic has gone through since leaving Rey Mysterio and joining the Judgment Day. He's developed a great level of confidence. His character work has been fantastic. His in-ring work is becoming more smoother by the matchup. I think it's time we start giving him these opportunities and these high-profile matchups, and not really just stuck to being that little cowardly heel every now and then, or having to rely on interference by the Judgment Day. I do think him and Jey Uso could have a great matchup, obviously with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan in their corners. That lends itself to be very story-driven, but also a way to include the audience in what should be an entertaining matchup / feud. But since we're on the topic of Liv Morgan, Dominic, and Rhea, they opened up this show. First of all, I want to talk about how Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan entered the arena in Ontario, California, almost like Ontario, Canada. They entered the arena in a lowrider, very much so as a reference to Dominic Mysterio's kayfabe father, Eddie Guerrero. Anytime I see a reference to Eddie Guerrero, just puts a smile on my face. So that was very cool, very nice of them to do. We saw them enter the ring. They go around the ring first, and they described it as a victory lap because the revenge tour for Liv Morgan has so far been a success. But that promo wouldn't last too long as Rhea Ripley emerges from the back and shares the news, which was actually spoiled. For those who noticed, I noticed this watching it. But upon the entrance of Dominic and Liv Morgan, the Bad Blood graphic appeared on screen, and it shows Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World title. But there's a stipulation down there, and of course Rhea Ripley would announce it in her promo that her and Adam Pearce had come to an agreement and an understanding that Dominic Mysterio and his interference in the matches have been an issue, and they will be suspending him above the ring in a shark cage. I did notice it in the graphic. I'm hoping you did too. If you did, go ahead and comment down below if you caught that early on during that graphic that they had shown. But what the hell, man? I mean, it's been a minute. I think I might be wrong, but I feel like 2017 might have been the last time we saw a shark cage involved, when Enzo Amore and Big Cass, they were involved with the Big Show storyline. I believe it might have been Great Balls of Fire. I could be wrong, but I want to say that was around the same time. Again, makes for an entertaining spot. I can already envision Dominic Mysterio being suspended above the ring, trying to interfere somehow, maybe dropping something to Liv Morgan. I don't know. But just the visual of having Dominic above the ring would be hilarious. I know there was a lot of jokes and memes being thrown around for their SummerSlam matchup that it should have been Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan for the custody of Dominic and have him hang over in a shark cage. So it's very funny that they're bringing that full circle here at Bad Blood. Keep an eye out, though. I will be providing a prediction video as for the matchups that are scheduled for Bad Blood. So keep an eye out for that, as that'll be coming out probably in the next couple days or maybe the week or so. Definitely before the event itself. Another eventful night for Sami Zayn, of course. We know that he's currently trying to get an opportunity to face Gunther, the world champion, for that very title. And he defeated Kaiser in what was a entertaining matchup. But after the matchup, that's where the story really begins. We saw Gunther come from the back, full gear ready, by the way. So I'm thinking, whoa, what are they going to do the matchup here? And I'm thinking, well, Gunther's a great heel. He's going to take advantage of the fact that Sami Zayn had a tough battle against Kaiser. He's going to want to take advantage of that and say, you know what, Sami, you want a title shot? I'll give it to you right now, coincidentally enough, after you've had a great match. But no, that wouldn't be the case. As typical and traditional heel fashion, Gunther would say, you want a matchup here tonight? And he would tell him no. Again, we're holding off on that matchup. I don't think it's going to happen at Bad Blood at this point. I think if it was going to, we would have already had that announced. Will it happen next week, the week after? Who knows? We'll have to keep watching and stay tuned. But Gunther and Sami Zayn, sure enough, should be a great matchup. But I'll tell you what will be a great matchup. Next week, last monster standing. Of course, I'm talking about Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman. But before we get to that matchup, let's talk about what happened tonight on Monday Night Raw. Like I said, we opened the show with Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan entering the arena. And in the midst of their entrance into the arena from the back, we get Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed heaving each other through a merchandise table, and it really set the tone. It set the tone for the night, because that wouldn't be the only time that we would see an appearance between the two, as The Miz had a matchup against Bronson Reed. But the match would never get started because Braun Strowman emerged from the crowd, jumping Reed and leading to a bunch of security guards. Let me just stop right there. The amount of security that they had on hand for this segment, for Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, where are they? Where are they throughout the course of these nights? Because Sheamus and Pete Dunne had a brawl too, and I didn't see that much security. But nonetheless, Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman just rid the ring and ringside of all of these security guards. A lot of great bumps were taken by these security guards, probably future, enhancement talent, more likely. They did tease a spot, and I don't think it was for nothing. But Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman reached the top of the turnbuckle, hinting and suggesting that there would be a superplex from the top rope to the ring. Now, for diehard WWE fans, you know that the ring has been broken in the past by the likes of Mark Henry and Big Show at Vengeance 2011, by Big Show and Brock Lesnar on an episode of SmackDown in 2003. I think we're going to get that. Now, I'm hoping that this last Monster Standing matchup main events Monday Night Raw. Probably not, because it's a go home episode for Bad Blood. But I really want to see that spot between those two as they crash from the top rope to the ring and lay it out. I love that spot. It's one of the more intricate, spots that they have to do for the WWE. If they were to do it, it'd have to be one of the last matches, because you don't want to have to go through rebuilding the matchup for the night. I highly doubt it. It has to be the main event. If the matchup itself is not the main event, the spot won't happen. And I really want to see it happen. I know you guys want to see it happen. I mean, it's not often that we get to see the ring implode in that fashion. But nonetheless, that's for next week's Monday Night Raw. If you guys enjoyed this post-show reaction for Monday Night Raw this week, please give the video a like. Continue to support the channel as we continue to grow. And also comment down below, what are your thoughts on Monday Night Raw? What are you looking forward to the most in regards to Bad Blood? And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with all these videos here that I produce on the channel. With that being said, my name is Jose Ramos Jr. Thank you again for hanging out with me talking about Monday Night Raw, and I'll see you guys in the next video.